Welcome to Bible Quizzes. This quiz is all about the journey of Moses. Are you ready? Let's begin. 1. Who found baby Moses in the Nile? Pharaoh's wife, a servant, Miriam, Pharaoh's daughter. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Pharaoh's daughter. Exodus 2 5-6 states that Pharaoh's daughter found Moses in a basket among the reeds of the Nile. 2. Who nursed baby Moses after he was found? His sister, his mother, Pharaoh's wife, a servant. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is his mother. Exodus 2 7-9 states that Miriam arranged for Jochebed to nurse Moses under Pharaoh's daughter's orders. 3. What crime did Moses commit in Egypt? Kill an Egyptian, lie to Pharaoh, steal gold, burn a house. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is kill an Egyptian. Exodus 2:12 states that Moses killed an Egyptian who was beating a Hebrew slave. 4. Where did Moses flee after killing the Egyptian? Canaan, Midian, Sinai, Moab. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Midian. Exodus 2:15 states that Moses fled to Midian after Pharaoh sought to kill him. 5. Who was Moses' father-in-law? Korah, Balaam, Jethro, Nahor. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Jethro. Exodus 2:18 states that Moses' father-in-law was Jethro, the priest of Midian. 6. What was the name of Moses' wife? Leah, Rahab, Zipporah, Deborah. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Zipporah. Exodus 2:21 states that Moses married Zipporah, Jethro's daughter. 7. What was the name of Moses' first son? Gershom, Caleb, Eleazar, Aaron. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Gershom. Exodus 2:22 states that Moses named his son Gershom, meaning a foreigner there. 8. What was Moses doing when he saw the burning bush? Sleeping, tending to the flock, playing, praying. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is tending to the flock. Exodus 3:1 states that Moses was tending the flock when he encountered the burning bush. 9. Where did Moses see the burning bush? Mount Horeb, Mount Nebo, Mount Sinai, Mount Carmel. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Mount Horeb. Exodus 3:1 states that Moses saw the burning bush at Mount Horeb, also called the Mountain of God. 10. What did God tell Moses to remove at the burning bush? His robe, his staff, his sandals, his head covering. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is his sandals. Exodus 3:5 states that God told Moses to remove his sandals because he was standing on holy ground. 11. What excuse did Moses give for not wanting to go to Pharaoh? He was too old. He had no army. He had a speech problem. He feared Pharaoh. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is he had a speech problem. Exodus 4:10 states that Moses said he was slow of speech and tongue. 12. What miraculous sign did God first give Moses? Turning water to blood, calling fire from heaven, staff turning into a snake, parting the sea. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is staff turning into a snake. Exodus 4:3 states that God told Moses to throw his staff down and it became a serpent. 13. Who did God appoint to speak for Moses? Joshua, Eleazar, Caleb, Aaron. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Aaron. Exodus 4:14-16 states that God appointed Aaron to be Moses' spokesman. 14. What did Zipporah do to save Moses' life on the way to Egypt? Hid him, prayed for him, circumcised their son, fed him. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is circumcise their son. Exodus 4:24-26 states that Zipporah circumcised their son to stop God's anger against Moses. 15. How old was Moses when he fled Egypt? 30 years old, 50 years old, 40 years old, 60 years old. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 40 years old. Acts 7:23 states that Moses was 40 years old when he fled to Midian. 16. How old was Moses when God sent him back to Egypt? 60, 70, 80, 90. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 80. Exodus 7:7 states that Moses was 80 years old when he confronted Pharaoh. 17. What did God turn Moses' hand into as a sign? Flaming torch, covered in gold, leprous, and then healed. Invisible. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is leprous and then healed. Exodus 4:6-7 states that God made Moses' hand leprous and then restored it. 18. Who met Moses in the wilderness before he returned to Egypt? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Aaron. Exodus 4:27 states that Aaron met Moses at the mountain of God before they went to Pharaoh. 19. What did Moses and Aaron ask Pharaoh to do? Free all the Israelites, make Moses a ruler, worship in the desert, give them gold and silver. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is worship in the desert. Exodus 5:1 states that Moses and Aaron asked Pharaoh to let the Israelites go to the wilderness to worship God. 20. What was Pharaoh's response to Moses' first request? Let them go, increase their labor, imprison Moses, gave them food. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is increase their labor. Exodus 5:6-9 states that Pharaoh made the Israelites work harder by stopping the supply of straw for bricks. 21. How did the magicians replicate Moses' first miracle before Pharaoh? Using secret arts, touching the Nile, praying to their gods, throwing dust into the air. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is using secret arts. Exodus 7:11 states that Pharaoh's magicians used their secret arts to turn their staffs into snakes. 22. What did Moses stretch to part the Red Sea? His staff, his feet, his robe, his hand. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is his hand. Exodus 14:21 states that Moses stretched out his hand and God parted the Red Sea. 23. What song did Moses and the Israelites sing after crossing the Red Sea? Song of the Sea, Song of Freedom, Song of Deliverance, Song of Moses. You have 10 seconds. The answer is Song of the Sea. Exodus 15:1 states that Moses and the Israelites sang a song praising God for their deliverance. 24. What did Moses use to make bitter water drinkable at Marah? Prayer, his staff, a rock, a tree. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is a tree. Exodus 15:25 states that God instructed Moses to throw a piece of wood into the water, making it sweet. 25. What happened when Moses struck the rock at Horeb? It split open, water gushed out, it turned to gold, fire came from it. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is water gushed out. Exodus 17:6 states that Moses struck the rock at Horeb and water flowed for the Israelites. 26. What group attacked Israel in the wilderness, prompting Moses to raise his hands in battle? Amalekites, Edomites, Moabites, Midianites. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Amalekites. Exodus 17:8-13 states that the Amalekites attacked and Israel won as long as Moses kept his hands raised. 27. Who helped hold Moses' hands up during the battle against the Amalekites? Joshua and Caleb, Eleazar and Gershom, Jethro and Zipporah, Aaron and Hur. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Aaron and Hur. Exodus 17:12 states that Aaron and Hur held up Moses' hands to ensure victory. 28. What was the name of Moses' second son? Gershom, Manasseh, Eleazar, Ephraim. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Eleazar. Exodus 18:4 states that Moses' second son was Eleazar, meaning God is my help. 29. What did the Israelites do while Moses was on Mount Sinai? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is built a golden calf. Exodus 32:4 states that Aaron made a golden calf for the Israelites to worship. 30. Who advised Moses to appoint judges to help him? Aaron, Hur, Joshua, Jethro. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Jethro. Exodus 18:70-21 states that Jethro advised Moses to appoint leaders to judge minor cases. 31. How many days did Moses stay on Mount Sinai to receive the law? 20, 40, 30, 50. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 40. Exodus 24:18 states that Moses stayed on the mountain for 40 days and nights. 32. What did Moses do when he saw the golden calf? Rejoiced, broke the tables, cried, built an altar. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is broke the tables. Exodus 32:19 states that Moses threw the tablets down and shattered them in anger. 33. What tribe stood with Moses against idol worship? Levi, Simeon, Reuben, Judah. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Levi. Exodus 32:26 states that the Levites stood with Moses and executed idol worshippers. 34. What did Moses' face do after speaking with God? Became pale, turned red, aged quickly, glowed. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is clothed. Exodus 34:29 states that Moses' face shone brightly after being in God's presence. 35. What did Moses wear to cover his face after being with God? A veil, a turban, a crown, a robe. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is a veil. Exodus 34:33 states that Moses wore a veil because his face was shining. 36. Who rebelled against Moses and was swallowed by the earth? Balaam, Aaron, Korah, Caleb. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Korah. Number 16:31-33 states that the earth swallowed Korah and his followers for their rebellion. 37. Who succeeded Moses as leader of Israel? Aaron, Caleb, Eleazar, Joshua. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Joshua. Deuteronomy 34:9 states that Joshua was filled with wisdom and chosen to lead after Moses. 38. Where did Moses die? Mount Sinai, Mount Horeb, Mount Nebo, Jordan River. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Mount Nebo. Deuteronomy 34:1-5 states that Moses died on Mount Nebo after seeing the Promised Land. 39. How old was Moses when he died? 100 years, 120 years, 130 years, 140 years. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 120 years. Deuteronomy 34:7 states that Moses was 120 years old when he died. 40. Who buried Moses? Joshua, God, Israelites, Levites. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is God. Deuteronomy 34:6 states that God himself buried Moses and no one knows his burial place. 41. What river was baby Moses placed in? Jordan, Euphrates, Nile, Tigris. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Nile. Exodus 2:3 states that Moses' mother placed him in a basket and set him in the Nile River. 42. How did God appear to Moses on Mount Sinai? A cloud, burning bush, a fire, bright light. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is burning bush. Exodus 3:2 states that God appeared to Moses in a burning bush that did not burn up. 43. How did Moses react to God's call at the burning bush? Accepted, ran away, made excuses, told Aaron. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is made excuses. Exodus 3:11-4:13 states that Moses questioned his ability and tried to avoid the mission. 44. What Jewish festival commemorates the final plague? Passover, Tabernacles, Pentecost, Hanukkah. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Passover. Exodus 12:14 states that Passover was established to remember God's deliverance. 45. What did Moses do to the golden calf? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is burnt it. Exodus 32:20 states that Moses burnt the golden calf, ground it into powder, and mixed it with water for the people to drink. 46. How many spies did Moses send to explore Canaan? 10, 13, 12, 30. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 12. Numbers 13:2 states that Moses sent one spy from each of the 12 tribes. 47. Where was Moses when God showed him the promised land before he died? Mount Sinai, Mount Nebo, Mount Horeb, Mount Carmel. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Mount Nebo. Deuteronomy 34:1 states that Moses saw the promised land from Mount Nebo but was not allowed to enter. 48. What did Moses' mother do to Moses when he was born? Hide him, give him up, sell him, send him away. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is hide him. Exodus 2:2 states that Moses' mother hid him for 3 months before placing him in the Nile. 49. How did Pharaoh's daughter recognize Moses was a Hebrew baby? His clothing, circumcision, his language, not mentioned. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is not mentioned. Exodus 2:6 states that Pharaoh's daughter knew Moses was a Hebrew, but it does not mention how she recognized it on the baby. 50. How many plagues did God send before Pharaoh released Israel? 7, 12, 10, 14. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 10. Exodus 7-12 describes the 10 plagues God sent upon Egypt. 51. Who was Moses' personal assistant during the journey? Aaron, Joshua, Caleb, Hur. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Aaron. Exodus 24:13 states that Joshua was Moses' assistant and accompanied him up Mount Sinai. 52. How long did the Israelites wander in the wilderness? 30 years, 40 years, 60 years, 10 years. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 40 years. Numbers 14:33 states that God made Israel wander for 40 years due to their disobedience. 53. Who argued over Moses' body according to the New Testament? Elijah and Enoch, Jesus and Moses, Michael and Satan, Joshua and Caleb. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Michael and Satan. Jude 1:9 states that the archangel Michael and Satan disputed over Moses' body. 54. What did Moses carry when he came down from Mount Sinai? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 2 stone tablets. Exodus 31:18 states that Moses carried the stone tablets with the 10 commandments. 55. What was the first commandment God gave Moses? Do not kill, do not steal, no other gods, honor parents. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is no other gods. Exodus 23 states that the first commandment prohibits worshipping other gods. 56. What did Moses do before he died? Name a new leader, pray and bless, dance and drink, eat and drink. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is name a new leader. Deuteronomy 34:9 states that Moses laid his hands on Joshua, passing leadership to him. 57. Who ordered the killing of Hebrew baby boys in Egypt? Jethro, Potiphar, Pharaoh, Moses. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Pharaoh. Exodus 1:22 states that Pharaoh commanded all Hebrew baby boys to be thrown into the Nile. 58. Who placed baby Moses in the Nile? His mother, his father, his sister, a servant. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is his mother. Exodus 2:3 states that Jochebed, his mother, placed Moses in a basket and set him in the river. 59. What material was Moses' basket made of? Papyrus, wood, gold, linen. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is papyrus. Exodus 2:3 states that the basket was made of papyrus and coated with tar and pitch. 60. Who watched over baby Moses as he floated in the Nile? Pharaoh's daughter, his father, his mother, his sister. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is his sister. Exodus 2:4 states that Miriam, his sister, stood at a distance to see what would happen to Moses. 61. Who named Moses? Jochebed, an Egyptian priest. Pharaoh's daughter, an angel. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Pharaoh's daughter. Exodus 2:10 states that Pharaoh's daughter named him Moses, meaning drawn out of water. 62. What was Moses raised as in Egypt? A soldier, a prince, a priest, a merchant. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is a prince. Acts 7:21-22 states that Moses was raised as Pharaoh's grandson and educated in Egyptian wisdom. 63. What skill did Moses learn in Pharaoh's court? Reading and writing, building temples, drawing pictures, flight and war tactics. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is reading and writing. Acts 7:22 states that Moses was educated in all the wisdom of Egypt. 64. What did Moses do with the Egyptian he killed? Hid him, burned him, buried him? Nothing. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is buried him. Exodus 2:12 states that Moses buried the Egyptian in the sand to hide his actions. 65. How did Pharaoh react when he learned Moses killed an Egyptian? Ignored it, forgave Moses, praised Moses, wanted to kill Moses. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is wanted to kill Moses. Exodus 2:15 states that Pharaoh tried to kill Moses, forcing him to flee to Midian. 66. How did Moses escape Pharaoh's punishment? His mother hid him. He went to trial. He fled Egypt. He bribed the guards. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is he fled Egypt. Exodus 2:15 states that Moses fled to Midian after Pharaoh sought to kill him. 67. What was Moses' status before fleeing Egypt? Hebrew slave, Egyptian priest, Prince of Egypt, Captain General. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Prince of Egypt. Acts 7:22 states that Moses was powerful in speech and action as an Egyptian prince. 68. What was Moses' relationship to Pharaoh's household? A servant, a counselor, a priest, a grandson. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is a grandson. Exodus 2:10 states that Pharaoh's daughter raised Moses as her son. 69. How long was Moses in Midian before God called him at the burning bush? 10 years, 40 years, 30 years, 20 years. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 40 years. Acts 7:30 states that Moses was in Midian for 40 years before God called him. 70. What did Moses tell Pharaoh before each plague? Let my people go. Repent and believe. The Lord will punish you. God will destroy Egypt. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is, let my people go. Exodus 5:1 states that Moses repeatedly told Pharaoh, let my people go so they may hold a festival to me in the wilderness. 71. How did Pharaoh react after the final plague? Refused to let them go, asked Moses to bless him, wanted to kill Moses, made Moses king. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is, ask Moses to bless him. Exodus 12:31-32 states that Pharaoh finally let Israel go and even asked Moses to bless him. 72. What did Moses take with him out of Egypt? Joseph's bones, Egyptian gold, Pharaoh's crown, jewelry goods. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Joseph's bones. Exodus 13:19 states that Moses carried Joseph's bones, fulfilling Joseph's request in Genesis 50:25. 73. What did Moses have in his hand to part the Red Sea? A rock, a golden ring, a staff, nothing. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is a staff. Exodus 14:16 states that Moses stretched his staff over the sea and God parted the waters. 74. What happened to Pharaoh's army in the Red Sea? They escaped, they ran away, they drowned, they cried. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is they drowned. Exodus 14:28 states that the waters returned and drowned Pharaoh's army. 75. What did Moses do when the Israelites complained of no water at Marah? Attack them, talk to God, talk to them, run away. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is talk to God. Exodus 15:25 states that God told Moses to throw a piece of wood into the bitter water, making it drinkable. 76. What was the name of Moses' sister? Mary, Rebecca, Anna, Miriam. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Miriam. Exodus 15:20 states that Miriam was the sister of Moses and a prophetess. 77. What did Miriam and Aaron complain about regarding Moses? Leadership, age, marriage, speech. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is marriage. Numbers 12:1 states that Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of his Cushite wife. 78. What disease did Miriam get as punishment for opposing Moses? Leprosy, boils, blindness, fever. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is leprosy. Numbers 12:10 states that Miriam was struck with leprosy as punishment for her rebellion. 79. How long was Miriam forced to stay outside the camp due to her leprosy? 3 days, 7 days, 5 days, 9 days. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 7 days. Numbers 12:14 to 15 states that Miriam was shut outside the camp for 7 days. 80. What did most of the spies report about Canaan? It was good. People were too strong. People were mean. It was barren. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is people were too strong. Numbers 13:31 states that 10 of the spies said they could not conquer the land. And there you have it. How well did you do? Tally your score and post in the comments. And don't forget to share this quiz with your family and friends. See you in the next one. God bless.